Hello, everybody. Welcome to NCRF TV's Elevate Your Game series. We are here to. Oh, wait. Hi, everybody. Welcome to NCRF TV's Elevate Your Game series, where we are here to boost your knowledge and network with industry experts. We're going to be touching on a bunch of opportunities, resources, information, and tools to help grow you. Just a quick reminder that we are monitoring the comments on all of our social media platforms. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns, they will be addressed. So today's topic is going to be advancing careers in commercial real estate. And our special guest today is Mr. Chris Bell. He is the Chief Operating Officer of the African American Real Estate Professionals Atlanta chapter. And so start off our show, we will be having our Internship and Careers Manager, Mrs. Denise Parker.
Hello, everyone. I know you guys can hear my voice, and I wanted to just welcome you to our program. Before we get started, I want to thank you and welcome everybody to Elevate Your Game, an inside look at advancing careers in commercial real estate. I am your host, Mrs. Denise Parker, and let me bring myself to the screen now. Hello. Hi, everybody. I just want to make sure that we just get started by saying like us, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. This is streaming live on our NCRF TV network on YouTube. So please follow us, like us. All our programming is free content so that you guys can get information about elevating your game. It is a series that is instructing you on how to best serve your career pathway. Before we get started, I'm going to have Faith come back on and make some announcements.
Alrighty, guys. So we're going to start our special announcements with our HBCU fun fact. All right. So our HBCU fun fact is about Houston-Tillotson University. So originally, this school, as many don't know, was two schools. As you see on the little sign, it was Samuel Houston College, which was founded in the 1900, which long time ago. And we also had Tillotson College, founded in 1877. So Tillotson College was first reorganized as a junior college, then it was a women's college, and finally as a senior co-ed, meaning that both men and women could attend. So then Samuel Houston College was started as a private educational corporation under the laws of Texas. Both schools were known for their departments of education and music, and eventually the two came together, forming Houston-Tillotson College on October 24th, 1952. And Houston-Tillotson at the time was the sole provider for higher education for African Americans in Central Texas until the landmark case of Brown v. Board of Education in 1954. This was the case where schools became desegregated. And then in the picture on the side, you can see the building that was Tillotson College is still, standing and on the campus to be visited. Now we move on to our announcements. So if you enjoy this wonderful segment that we have today, you can go ahead, scan that QR code, and join us for our next one. Receive all our updates, any interactions and opportunities that we have coming up. They will be sent directly to you to enjoy. And then coming up, we have our Links construction opportunity. This is located in person in Los Angeles, California, for all of our college juniors and seniors interested in construction, structural, or civil engineering, or management. So if you are willing to put in the work and work on some amazing opportunities, historical opportunities even, then go ahead and scan that QR code to submit your resume and a cover letter. All right, going on to our next one. Some of our wonderful July events after today would be our resume and cover letter workshop. We will be working with you guys and showing you guys how to customize your resume for each opportunity, making sure that they are focused on the specific opportunity and that all of your sorry, had a little brain fart, but making sure that all of your um, experience, sorry about that, all of your experience is matched to that opportunity so that you are best presenting yourself along with your cover letter. And another amazing, wonderful segment that we are having in July is influencer versus influential brand your impact. We will be working on how to determine the difference between being an influencer and being influential. So, how you present yourself and how that goes and affects other people. So, go ahead and scan that QR code if you are interested to register. And next, for our college parents, if you are having an incoming college freshman and you are in the Atlanta area, please go ahead and scan that QR code so you can talk to other parents and just get to know what it's going to be like having a college freshman, and how the change that's going to be for you as a parent. Okay, one of our amazing supporters, Mattel, is going to come and speak on an amazing opportunity that they have called their Flip Leadership Program. After hearing about it, if you are interested, go ahead and scan that QR code so that way you can apply by July 11th. This is an amazing remote opportunity for all majors.
Denise, you are muted. I don't know if you can hear me right now.
Well, here I'm at. Thank you for telling me I was muted. Hey, we have technical difficulties sometimes, but that's okay.
All good.
I wanted to announce that Miss Seema is here. She's from Mattel, and she's here to announce that special announcement about that Flip Leadership Program. So just go ahead and just really quickly tell us who you are and what is the opportunity.
Yeah, so thank you, Denise, so much for being an amazing partner. So, hi, everyone. My name's Seema. I am our Senior Manager of Early and Emerging Talent here at Mattel. You may know Mattel. You may be familiar with some of our brands, such as Barbie, Hot Wheels, Fisher-Price, American Girl, Thomas and Friends, Uno. We are one of the biggest toy company and children's entertainment company in the world. And right now, what we are doing is really looking to play fair. So, this is an initiative born out of making sure we're investing in the Black community locally and nationally. And this program is to really open doors to young Black talent. So it's called the FLIP program. So it's the Mattel Future Leaders Innovating Play. It's a 2-day leadership program, and it is remote, which makes it nice and easy for students to join. It's based on leadership modules, professional development modules, a group project, really giving you the opportunity for career exploration within the children's entertainment industry and toy industry. You'll hear from our Black at Mattel ERGs, a variety of other employee resource groups. You'll participate in a group project with other college students. And really, our purpose of this program is to grant you preferred eligibility and accelerated interviews for our Mattel Summer 2023 internship program. So really, we want you to get fall recruiting out of the way, have a really great internship secured for next summer through this program. It is a compensated program, and we really want to have as many people join as possible, especially here in Los Angeles. You get to understand different career opportunities in product development, engineering, design, marketing, global technology, supply chain. We are open to all majors. All you have to do is, I know there's a lot of information on this slide, just scan that QR code. And then what we are looking for is students that are graduating in fall or winter 2023 or spring 2024. All the application details are listed in that QR code. There is a short essay, and we will get back to you after July 11th, which is, I can't believe, this Sunday. The world is going by so quickly. And we're really excited to hopefully present you this opportunity to kick off and continue your career.
Thank you so much, Seema. Can you just really quickly talk about the compensation real quick? What is it looking like for the salary?
Yeah, for this particular program, it's a 2-day program. It will be about full time for both hours of the day, and it's at $20 an hour. And then after the program completes, we'll be sending out a survey. And if you're interested in participating in an accelerated interview for our 2023 program, that'll take place sometime in the month of September. All of our internships, of course, are also compensated, and they will vary a little bit by the function and department you're in, but you'll get those details when you receive an internship offer as well.
And then why is this program targeting the Black community specifically, would you say?
Yeah, I think what we want to make sure we're doing is providing and opening doors into underrepresented groups that we've identified at the company. And we think it's really important to make kind of thoughtful recruiting efforts and mindful recruitment efforts, which is what I call it. So we are really targeting PBIs, HBCUs. We are a very inclusive workforce. Of course, there's always work to do, but we want to make sure we're channeling our recruitment energies, especially into young talent, which is so important because they're our future, leaders, and we want our products that touch kids' lives to really look like the world that we live in. And so we want to make sure we're making those efforts. Of course, we have our employee resource groups at Mattel. We have Black at Mattel. We have Women at Mattel. We have Open, which is our LGBTQ plus. So we really want to make sure we have an authentic and diverse and inclusive workforce, which is part of that initiative.
Well, I want to thank you for joining our live stream and making this very special announcement about the Flip Leadership Program. And it is amazing opportunity for our young people we placed 4 people in your organization last year. It was amazing. They all truly enjoyed the experience and found that it was beneficial to their career pathway. So once again, I want to thank Mattel for this opportunity and calling us again for that leadership role and finding more students of color to fulfill those positions. Thank you, Seema.
Can I just add one more thing? And if for some reason anyone listening, those dates of August 10th and 11th, which is when the program is taking place, don't align with your calendar, of course, we are accepting all open applications beginning in the fall for interns for 2023. So thank you.
Awesome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Denise.
Bye. Well, that is our announcements. Wow, there's so much things going and happening. Now we're going to get to our special guest, Mr. Chris Bell, who is the COO of the African American Real Estate Professional Association, Atlanta chapter. Wonderful, wonderful. Let me bring him on. Are you ready, sir? Thumbs up if you're ready. These thumbs up ready. Let's go. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, Denise?
Good.
And everyone out there.
Hey, what's the weather like there in the ATL?
Hot, muggy. It's been raining pretty much throughout the day, but the heat is definitely on. So we're feeling it.
Right. So what brought you on to today's segment? What made you want to join and talk about advancing your careers in commercial real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. Mainly because, through our organization, the African American Real Estate Professionals, we really have the mission and goal to educate, our communities and just young folks, everybody out there about the commercial real estate industry, because there's not many of us represented, and I love to talk about real estate.
Excellent. So let's just talk about it. How did you get started? What made you gravitate into that career pathway? Where did you come from, and how did you find yourself going into the commercial side of real estate as opposed to the traditional residential side?
Yes, I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina, and I found myself in the world of real estate kind of at a young age. So one of my first summer jobs was working for a county government, my local county government in South Carolina. And through that role that I had, I started to learn about the built environment and through real estate. So one of the things that I had to do during the summer was go out to new homes that didn't have addresses assigned yet. So they didn't even have a mailbox. But what we would do is go, down a road. The road might not even be paved already, but then we would take a measuring wheel and go from the mailbox that is established and measure how far to where the next one should be at, and assigning addresses. Um, and I started to learn really about, and that's part of kind of the planning and zoning process of real estate. But I started to learn about the built environment just early on, and then when I moved to Atlanta to go to school, I started to learn more about real estate, mainly because trying to survive here. So when I started to learn certain terms and different aspects of leasing, which and it was pure research and trying my luck and understanding how contracts work and things like that. So I wasn't going to school for that. I was going to school for technology. So I had a tech background, but just for pure survival, I started to learn about real estate, and that actually helped me out get into a role. Um, at my school, being a residential advisor, the RA is what you call it, and that gave me free rent, but it also put me feet first into again being involved in leasing. So having to explain lease contracts to parents. So if you can imagine a kid explaining to an adult what they're signing and kind of as it relates to their child, it was kind of a great responsibility, but at the same time it put me in a position where I had to really know my stuff, because as we know adults, they more than likely have signed a lease before, so they had some really tough questions, and I had to really know how to balance that. So that's pretty much how I kind of got my start into the space of real estate. And I think one other thing that you asked about was the really my gravitation towards commercial. So my gravitation towards commercial really kind of came from um, my involvement in a program called Project REAP. And in that program, it exposed me to several verticals of the commercial real estate industry. And there were things that I was doing in my full time role. There were things that I had done in the past that I had no clue were a part of commercial real estate. And as I started to learn more and that people were actually getting paid and paid a lot of money, I started to basically take that path. And then while doing that, letting everybody that I possibly everybody that I ran into know that this was a possibility and an opportunity for people.
And what was it that really said that this is going to be it for you as far as a career rather than, the technology side? How did you transition and change? Like, what was it that switched it over for that motivation for you?
What I really like about real estate is that it a lot of times people remove a lot of the emotions behind it. And it's about what you know and what you're capable of doing and what you're, pulling together, um, a deal or finding a solution. And what really helped me to really decide that real estate was it for me was the fact that I was able to consistently wake up every day and provide a solution, and it was impactful. It was meaningful. Um, I saw the impact, just the vision way down the line, and not only the immediate impact, but I could see what how it shaped the future. So with tech, it's you absolutely do solve problems there. Um, but sometimes it kind of gets a little monotonous as you're just kind of solving the same problems over and over, or kind of working on code and things like that. And you might be inside a lot, inside of an environment where you're not necessarily knowing what's going on outside. until you get off of work or you get to play during the weekend, you know.
But you're not against technology because it transcends into your new industry now, which is commercial real estate. So
Absolutely. So I'm not. Yeah. Let me clear that up. So I'm definitely not against technology because the way that I really segued into the current role that I'm in was through technology, and it was the utilization of GIS, which is Geographic Information Systems.
mm,
Everybody uses it because we have Google Maps, and you have Uber or Lyft. All of that is using GIS. Just imagine being so plugged in and tapped into the future of technology that you're working on applications such as that to get people logistically from one place to another, and that all still deals with real estate.
mhm.
So it definitely matters. That tech is never going anywhere.
So what is the difference between the residential side versus the commercial side? How can you, in layman's terms, easy to explain the real estate industry? Because it's a very vast professional profession. How could you explain it in your own words for our audience?
So with residential, you're going to be dealing with really exactly what's on your in your mind. It's going to be the home. It's what you see on HGTV, the buying and selling and renting, leasing of dwellings that people reside in. When it comes to commercial real estate, it really ties into that key word is commercial. So it's the commerce. So it's where money is actually being made. While there is money being made on the residential side for people to rent and things like that, um, with commercial real estate, it impacts basically everything else that you see once you leave your house or your neighborhood. Um, Commercial also involves multifamily, so where you have large scale apartment complexes. Those are also a part of commercial real estate. But once you start to see multiple levels, um, businesses being involved and transactions and things like that in that built environment, that starts to be commercial real estate.
Excellent. So the businesses that we go into, that we buy our goods and services from, those are considered commercial real estate, like the Walmarts and, where you go to school. How would school be identified? Is that a commercial real estate property too, like a institution?
So schools are going to be considered institutional through the government. So
Mm,
and they're so say you have a college that it might not necessarily be managed by your state or anything like that, but well, more than likely it will be within your state system. But really, like that would be kind of a set aside. Um, Not necessarily, you don't necessarily have too many people going and buying Morehouse College. It's like, um, but that the built environment around that school definitely starts to be commercial real estate.
and how important is it for people to look at real estate in the commercial side as a profession?
I said that is very important, mainly because even when you go and get your real estate license, you're only going to be really presented the key terms and concepts of the residential space. So a lot of times people go into that career path, getting a license with their state, and they still have no clue about um, still can't hear still have no clue about commercial real estate. So the importance of it is because it's that key part. Like I said, when you leave your house, when you leave your dwelling, you're touching commercial real estate, and it's part of your community. It's part of that fabric of your community. It's the shopping center that you pass by or you go to, the gas station that is there. And a lot of people in our communities, usually when they start to kind of look around that built environment, once they leave their community, once they leave their home, they start to look at and say, well, why is this in our, in down the street from us, and why do we not have a Whole Foods, and why do we just have a corner store, or why are there so many liquor stores here versus health food stores or retail like that. Understanding the process, whether you buy, sell, invest in commercial real estate, understanding how it connects to your community is very important.
We have a question in the chat from a DJ. Can you speak to the difference in the day-to-day work life of the residential agent versus the commercial agent? Ooh, we're getting into details now, Chris. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I am. Okay, so a residential agent, really, I'll say that there's not too much of there's not that huge difference. However, with the residential agent, they're going to be dealing with people, showing people the homes, open houses, and things like that. With commercial real estate, you pretty much will be kind of doing the same. Say, if you're doing office leasing, you'll still be showing that client office space, say, but you, instead of going to a house, you'll be going into, say, a skyscraper and showing them the 40th floor. And the the correlation between the day-to-day operations is there, but it's really about the client type. So in commercial, you're going to be dealing with businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So mainly businesses and investors are still businesses. When you're dealing with residential, it's going to be more than likely an individual, a family, and those conversations are different. So when you're dealing with a family, it's more so, what school do your kids want to, or what school do you want your kids to go to, or do you care about where, you know, if a grocery store is close by, if you have a pool inside of your neighborhood, when it comes to the day-to-day conversations you would have with um, for a commercial agent would be, how many employees do you have? What is your revenue? How long do you plan on staying within this particular area? Do you have plans for expansion? What are your pain points? Do you need offices built out that are closed and with doors, or do you need cubicles?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of it's just different. It's just a different conversation, but the two roles pretty much do the same hand holding for their clients.
But it's not just leasing. How expansive does commercial real estate get into? Like, what are some of the roles and responsibilities that can actually transcend into, like, owning a, quote unquote center for where the NBA team plays? Like, is that a commercial
Right.
space considered? Like, that's pretty big and vast to a Walmart or to a grocery store, or where you go in to get your nails done, and those little shops are all right there that you park next to where those restaurants are. That's all considered commercial real estate. So how vast, besides leasing, would you say your career opportunities are?
It is extremely vast with commercial real estate. You have So you have the leasing, which is part of brokerage. That would be, and I'll just kind of step a little further into it to show that there's the compensation behind it. That would be more of a commission base. And then when you start to look at salary, you have individuals who do appraisals. So they just they determine the value of property. There's a huge need for that. That can be salary. A lot of people own their own appraisal shops where they're their own boss. Um, you have development, which would also play into, the, like you said, the kind of building of arenas and different things like that. Or it could be just multifamily or shopping centers. But the development side of things as well, that also could be salary. You have corporate real estate. I guarantee you that Mattel, which, the representative that just spoke, Mattel has a corporate real estate department, and that team of people, they go and they find the right locations for that organization. and that is utilized through and through. Microsoft, just you name it.
McDonald's,
So
McDonald's, Starbucks.
McDonald's, yes. So you have retail, and that, and so it's kind of hard for me to really just throw it all out there, because it's really, when you go retail, you go into institutional, you go into corporate, so you could go into, you start to look at all of the industries, and there's a need for a place to put people. And when you have that need for a place to put people, this is where the opportunity is at for individuals joining the commercial real estate field. You also have government, which is where I really learned a lot of my real estate background. A lot of people never consider government, but um, they deal with public-private partnerships to, again, most of the time, um, arenas and things like that, sports complexes are built with the help of a government entity and a private party. Um, you also have lending and banking. That's also salary. You have market research. So you have people that just do the research behind, say, the best place to, um, you know, do business, to invest in. You have property management. So somebody has to take care of these properties. So all the different types of properties, you could find your own niche and say that, hey, I only like shopping malls. Most of the time, people don't realize that the back office sits behind all of the retail stores that you go into when you go into a mall, and those people collect the rents for each of those stores that are in there. Even the people that are in the middle with the kiosk that sell, say, pretzels and things like that, those people are paying for that space as well. And there's a whole team behind the scenes that runs that entire property. They manage it, collect rent, and handle it from there. You also have accounting, so you could have the opportunity to, if you love finance and numbers, um, you could do this as well, just for the commercial real estate industry. People that go into financial analysis is also an option. And then you have mortgages. Just like you would borrow money for a home, you also would be borrowing money for properties as well, commercial properties. And I'll end with two more, and it's project management. So people that really get you know the schedules and the budgets and everything together, the timelines together for bringing together, say, a full development of a property. Um, those are salaried positions that are very lucrative. Those start in the six figures. And then you have asset management. So you might be managing a portfolio of properties for, say, institutional investor.
Hmm. There's also law,
And
people
as
who
well, legal.
legally trying to make sure contracts are legit and solidified for the actual business side of the investment. So we want
Yes.
to bring a young person on who wants to ask a question about commercial real estate. I'm going to add you to the stream, Daniel, and I'm going to put our Daniel. Can you hear? Hi, Daniel. There you go. I can hear you. You can speak your question now. Hopefully you can hear me.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I
Yep.
can.
Okay. Hey, Chris. I wanted
Hey,
to ask
Daniel.
because I'm like personally, I've been wanting to get into um, like investments in real estate.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had like any investment properties yourself.
So investment properties, yes, I do. Um, and actually, so I don't have commercial investment properties, but they're all residential. So do you know, are you looking at residential, or you one day think that you'll get into commercial investment?
Definitely commercial investment later on, but like right now, I'm like looking at residential, learning as much as I can.
Yes, yes. Yeah, a lot of people, that's again the first kind of, we all have to lay our heads down somewhere. So it's, that one of the first things that we recognize in our environment, and it's kind of one of the easier concepts to grasp. And then, but a lot of people go through a strategy where they build a portfolio on a residential side, they sell that portfolio, and then once it appreciates in value, and then they take that money and go into the commercial space.
Okay, that's really cool. I didn't know you can um, have a portfolio of properties and sell it.
Tell
Yeah.
Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you in college now? Or where are you? What is your level of education or school? Because I'm just curious.
I'm in high school.
You're in high school. Oh my
Yep.
goodness, he's young and
Awesome.
thinking about commercial real estate. That's great. Why do you want to own a commercial property?
I think it's like it could be one of the best investments you can make, and I'm just like thinking of like long-term wealth.
Chris, what do you say about
Awesome.
that?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and this is definitely one of those vehicles that would take you there. Um, you're right on point with that mindset, and I think that a lot of people think that they have to kind of just be in it 24/7, but there are a lot of high net worth individuals such as doctors or dentists who really kind of at the end of the day or end of the year, they have more money than they can spend, and they look for places to invest their money and grow their funds, and they still pool that money into commercial real estate. So just to have a diverse portfolio of investments is key, and I think having some commercial in there is important.
Excellent. Do you have any other further questions for Chris, Daniel?
Not at the moment. I'm good. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank
And
you.
I want to say to Daniel, wonderful that you're starting now, thinking about your future. What kind of advice, Chris, could you give him to like study? What can he do to start right now to prepare himself for that career path?
So the first thing I would say is to look for programs that, if you want to work in this space, look for programs that will provide internships, education. This is a career path, whether you're investing or working in it. It's one of those areas where you never stop learning. And it's very important to continue to learn. Continue education is key. Um, I do encourage individuals to get their real estate license. That actually it kind of holds you to a different standard. It you would learn the laws and then the language, and then you from there it would hold you to be accountable, really to those laws and practices that are taught, and that a licensed professional would be required to uphold. So those are two things. Is look for education opportunity programs and shoot for that license. Just to even if you whether you're selling homes or selling commercial real estate, it's going to be important to have kind of as a backup.
Now, is the license for residential the same for commercial, or do you have to go a little bit further to take additional classes and get a different part of your license?
That's a good question. Actually, it's the same for both. And really, what at least in Georgia, from and I think it's pretty much across the board nationwide. Um, you're going to just learn about the law, what your state laws are as it relates to real estate, what you can and cannot do, what you should and should not do, what's legal and what's not legal, and so or what's illegal, and so that's mainly, and then learning again the language, so knowing the kind of the terms and different things that relate to real estate. Um, Most of the concepts are the same, but when you go down the path of commercial, you kind of have to focus on a specialization. So my personal specialization is land. So I like land, and I understand, um, really how to the ins and outs of a land transaction, which might be a little bit different than if you are doing, say, again, leasing. Um, the leasing is going to be, totally different. And so the way to kind of sharpen up on, your path is to one make a decision on really the asset type that you actually like, um, something that kind of fits your temperament, and then um, find again continual education that will help focus you in that direction. And there's plenty of designations that are out there in the industry to help you hone in on building that skill set for whatever it is that you want to achieve.
And Daniel can go to a community college now to take classes. Is that correct?
That's
And
correct.
know and learn the state regulations for the real estate that he wants to practice in that particular state versus Georgia versus California versus Florida. Wherever you're at, they have their own set of rules, regulations, and procedures and policies that you have to adhere to. There's not just one real estate license you get that covers all states. You have to pretty much go to each state to secure that, to sell and buy or invest or be a participate as a professional in the real estate industry. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. You're spot on with that. And the one thing
Okay.
I'll say, the caveat is that Daniel is in high school, so most states have like a age limit, so you might have to be like 18 to kind of start to get into that process. But nothing is ever going to stop you from learning on your own until you're able to, start taking the required classes for the exam. But you can always buy the book, learn the stuff, and then just be prepared for it when the time is right.
Well, Daniel, did they help answer all your questions and give you more insight?
Oh yeah, they gave me a lot of tips. Thank you.
You're welcome. So continue to watch. I'm gonna take you off the stream, but you just continue to watch so we can ask more questions for answer more questions for others. Thank you. Okay, so we have somebody else in the stream who wants to possibly ask a question. Well, at first, let me go to the chat. Okay, so do you, okay, first of all, let me read the chat. Let me make sure I got it right. Why do you think the lack of Black representation is in the commercial real estate industry? Or what can you speak to about that? Like, why is it important to have more representation of color, specifically Black, brown, more diversity in that industry?
Okay. Um, well, really, the lack of Black representation comes from really kind of the lack of knowledge and just not knowing that this is an option. Um, there are individuals that are adults that have been working in commercial real estate for a long time, but it's not necessarily labeled to say that
Mhm.
because you are handling, say, um, the back office inside of a mall, a shopping mall, no one's ever going to really tap on your shoulder and say, "Hey, you're actually a commercial real estate professional, right?" For them, a lot of times people see the sign and they go, and then they know that this is what they're doing, that they're doing leasing for, say, that mall, and then they don't necessarily know anything else about, say, the process that took to build that mall and the individuals who were involved to actually make that happen. Um, so it's really a lack of knowledge. There's individuals who are working in the industry now that have no clue what the other person does, how it works, and it's one of those things where um, we just need more information, more exposure to the industry, and the reason why it's
And we
important is, okay.
when you say they don't know how it is and how it works, would you say, give an example, like you're in a certain neighborhood that's predominantly Black or Latin or a different demographic other than the person representing the company from the commercial real estate side, and they think they know it all about that community, but if they had people within that community working in commercial real estate, they can understand the culture, what is expected, what will work, what wouldn't work. How would, is that something that you're speaking of?
Um, well, yes, in a sense, mainly because a lot of times a transaction is going to be linear. So if I'm, dealing with someone that wants to buy or sell land, um, we're kind of dealing with that problem right then. But we're not talking about, really um, what's going to happen after somebody else buys that land. I'm not going to be really involved in that. So if I sell, say, your property, which just has a bunch of trees on it, but then I sell it to somebody that actually is going to put apartments there, um, I wouldn't even be involved in any of the, construction, design, or anything like that of the apartments. However, all I know is land right now. But if, a lack of knowledge, that barrier would be, geez, there's somebody that actually does the project management for apartments, or there's somebody that actually does, construction for apartments. Let's think about even after the fact, after everything is built. There's a good difference, and I think it's financial difference difference between the individual who is cutting the lawns of residential homes to the income that somebody who cuts the lawns of commercial properties. Um, so just knowing that you actually, so you may be into landscaping, that might be a family business. And the family business might have, the half of the city locked down, but they're just going in a neighborhood after neighborhood, but not understanding that these shopping centers are, they have contracts available for someone to do that as well. And it's just really
Mhm.
that knowledge to know that you have the opportunity to scale up. You also could do the same thing for government. So you could do contracting in whatever area that you kind of have this talent in and apply it to commercial real estate. Just knowing that alone is very key, because somebody could just stay, into say, hey, I cut, 100 yards, a month, and that's good enough for me, not knowing that they could, do 10, commercial properties and probably get double the income. Um,
I
so it's
knew
just the
somebody.
opportunity.
I knew somebody very well who started, came from Mexico, started in just cutting lawns and residential homes, and eventually got contracts with commercial real estate businesses that actually landscaped big properties on a large
Hmm.
scale. And because he knew the language of his employees and he had the relationship with the business owner, he can be the kind of the median between, he created his own wealth. And he is very prominent in his industry. And I really want to say that there, you can start one place coming off of low beginnings, humble beginnings, and then all of a sudden you're the man who they go to for a particular contract regarding a property, because you understand what is needed, what's necessary. So yes, speaking of that, that's a great example. We
Yes.
have another question in the chat, and then I'm going to get to our person who's in the live stream. How do you, I don't know if you know about this, so this is, I've never heard of this. So how do you feel about crowdsourcing investment sites like Fundrise, crowdsourcing being sites like CrowdStreet that allows a bunch of people to invest in a small amount? So what, do you understand that?
Yes.
Explain it to people who
Um,
don't.
Basically, it's an investing strategy. It's an investing opportunity. Um, so a entity would create a pool of fund, much like you would see with stocks. What they would do is they would receive funds from basically a crowd of individuals. So the market would then pool money together, and then they would buy um, certain types of real estate assets, and then they would pay them in a dividend, just like you would a stock. So a lot of these, the technical term would be a REIT, so it's a real estate
Yes.
investment trust.
Yes.
Yeah, so with those with REITs, I actually recommend people to or suggest people to look into it as a um, part of your diversification of your portfolio. So instead of just kind of going tech stocks and things like that, you also would be able to um, earn well, you will earn your dividend, but also own a piece of property. You have a small fraction of it, but it's still ownership nonetheless.
I definitely understand REITs. So you definitely the crowdsourcing. I never heard it in that explanation, but I do understand what a REIT is, and those are really great investments if you're looking for long-term strategies for financial freedom and having multiple sources of income coming in that can actually pay for things. So yes, look into that REIT. So let me see if this, I can't pronounce your name. I don't want to say it wrong. I think it's Sahira. Let me add you to the stream and see if you want to ask a question. And you can say it in the chat if you don't want to. So let me, before I, and DJ, the one who asked the question said thank you from the chat.
You're welcome, DJ.
Yeah. So let me see if they want to ask. Sahira?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Did I say your name right?
Yeah, Segura. No, it's okay.
Hello.
So I'm just trying to take everything in. I'm a psychology major at. I live in Las Vegas, so UNLV, and
Awesome.
thank you. It's not really my area, but I definitely want to get into it because multiple streams of income. I've been trying to do the stocks, but I working full time really has been wiping me out. So, but I think I'm gonna go part time, and then I can just work on my portfolio then because that's building myself up. So I really have to do that.
All right.
But in terms of commercial real estate, I can be honest, I don't know anything about it. I do know more about residential, right, where you like buy a home and then you like take out a mortgage on a home and then you go ahead and rent it out. That's like residential real estate. Or
Yeah, that would be an investment strategy for residential. And with commercial, you pretty much are doing the same thing. Um, Most of the times, people aren't necessarily using 100% of their money. Actually, it's kind of not necessarily recommended. The name of the game is to actually use other people's money to really leverage that. So leverage is the best way to go about it. So you would go get a mortgage, but really um, pretty much doing the same thing. So you might get a shopping center. So if we just kind of do the apples to apples comparison, the shopping center would be the same as a home. And with the home, it might be a little bit easier to find one family that goes inside that home. With the shopping center, you might have 10 suites that you have to put a different tenant mix in.
Right.
But and sometimes, you might just buy property that already has a tenant in it. And you're just waiting. A lot of times with commercial real estate, it's a very long game, long term strategy where you just say, okay, I'm going to collect the rents for 10 years. And then after 10 years, the property is going to appreciate in value. And then that's when I'm going to sell and exit the property. So there's different plays in it, but it's very similar. You just have to kind of think with commercial on the business side. So if you look at like the shopping centers that you go to and retail places that you go to, most of the times you're not going to necessarily see too much of a repetition of the same type of business within the same shopping center. So, being creative. Um, I think you said you're a psychology major, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then retail actually plays into psychology. The psychology plays into marketing. So when you need to know the demographics of that particular area, and really understanding, um, this is the right tenant mix. This is the right, everyone, likes it. This is a, say in Vegas, you might have the sports arena. So you might have so you're going to make sure that you're not putting, you know, um, the wrong type of businesses around that. You want something that continues the synergy of the sport. So when the sports team wins, then
Uh,
people have somewhere to go and, party and, drink and eat with their families and things like that. So, just having that, you know, uh, the
Like
only
an
thing I don't have,
experience, like an
yeah, that
experience.
experience.
And
Yes.
and you're in the Las Vegas area, so each casino is a commercial real estate property that has its own experience that you're going
Right.
from one business or one venue to the next. So it's a nonstop, money
yeah.
flow.
I've seen what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Even like we have like Las Vegas Athletic Center, and then that's right next to Sprouts, and then it's right next to like the discount nutrition store. So it's like everything right there. And it
Yeah.
is convenient, and they profit off of each other. So definitely, I can see.
Absolutely.
I feel like I would be good at that, and I would be enjoy that. But the hard part for me is that in general, in terms of finance, anything, I just struggle to be like I I chose something that I was passionate about learning, and now I'm more but I also want to be financially stable and have passive income. So I do this for its like how reasonable it is, but not
Hmm.
necessarily because I'm passionate about it. So I don't want to be like, full time doing this. But would you recommend, is there anything in commercial real estate that's more like volatile, that's like more creates a more rapid income, so then I can get to like that financial stability point and then I can go ahead and do long-term investments?
Yeah. I would say when you're talking rapid income, although this is America, I would say that there's no real true shortcut. A lot of people try to take shortcuts to that income path. A lot of things take time to build up. However, with commercial real estate investing, you're going to have opportunities um, in different areas. So, say you might say you don't have enough time, but you have expertise. There's a key word called syndication, and it's when a group of folks get together. Usually, everyone on the team has a different skill set, but then they go and they invest in properties together. Um, Kind of similar to the crowdsourcing situation, except it's a little bit different. Um, the one thing that I'm kind of getting a hint of out of what you're saying is that I'd like to say, um, never count yourself out. It doesn't matter what you have right now, where you're starting off with, but if you have the mindset to actually just save or invest, so $5 invested for a period of time is going to yield you more than $5 that is just wasted on something that you just buy, some fast fashion or something like that. But really start with where you're at. I wouldn't say necessarily be too concerned about um, the just kind of ramping up really fast. A lot of it is about knowing. So the more that you know about the different commercial property types, the different opportunities, and how everything works, then you'll start to see your opportunities. And a lot of people go into brokerage. So a lot of people get their real estate license. And this is one area where they would actually be getting their hustle is going to determine how much money that they're making. So if they have the goal to say that they want to walk away at the end of the year with, say, $400,000, they're going to work a plan that actually gets that based off of commissions. and then they take that money and then they'll go and invest it somewhere else. And that is one way that I see a lot of people get into the industry utilizing their license for the main goal of ramping up money to invest and then retire.
So
Yeah,
does that answer your question in the sense to give you more
yeah,
broader understanding?
definitely. Yeah, I just yes, that's like my I definitely understand, and it's like that with all investments I know. But right now it's just I wish I could like nothing's for certain, but sometimes I wish I could just spend the whole day investing or like studying and researching it. But like that's why I wanted like something to start with. Like, right? So everything I've been making from working, I've been saving up, but I put all my energy and time into basically helping someone else. So that's like um where I want to put my energy into building myself up and like my own portfolio. It's just like the lack of income hinders that. So that's what,
You know
Yeah,
what? Let me encourage you real quick, and then Chris, you can close her out with that.
okay.
You're already starting with your education, and that is the number one investment that you can make within yourself. Nobody can take that away from you. What you build in your mind, nobody can take that away. You have to give it away to be transfixed into something else. So you're first off learning something. You're getting a handle of your career path. You're going into a field that can help you invest. Psychology will help you invest and understanding trends and brands and all that good stuff. What's popular, what's happening, what's going on in the mindset so that you can think ahead for your future. And then you said you were saving. You were saving. So you are already doing something for yourself. Now you're going to have to learn how to say no in modesty. Learn how to say no to protect yourself and to protect your future investments so that you can have more to give in the end. And I know that's hard, especially if you're a family woman and if you're a girl that everybody turns to. But I want to say that you're already doing it. Chris, do you want to add to it?
Yes. So I will say, piggyback off of that, that you definitely have the fact that you're thinking about it is that mindset. So you have already won half the battle. The fact that you know about the opportunity is also you have a leg up on a lot of people who just have no clue about it. But one of the main things is you never know what life is going to throw at you. You don't know if you're gonna get a lump sum of money next year, 10 years from now, somehow, some way. But just imagine if you won the lottery and then you only knew to spend that money. But if you won the lottery, and then you knew that, hey, now I know I can invest in all these different um, asset types of commercial real estate. Um,
right.
it's really about knowing. Here's one example that I'll close out with. The singer Lionel Richie. A lot of people know him for his music, his daughter, and fame, the fortune they think really kind of came from the music, and but his true fortune was built through real estate. So Rodale Drive, Lionel Richie um, owns some property, some retail property there that actually leases out to some of these big name brand companies. So he gets money, just every month
Mm-hmm.
by owning that. And so he didn't have to say, hey, his path was I'm gonna, sing. I'm gonna put out hits, or he worked hard. He didn't start off, a millionaire, singing, but he went
Mhm.
down a path to, really build that wealth there. And then as soon as he got some money, he knew what to do with it. And that's what's going to be key. Sometimes people hire, financial advisors and professionals like that would actually tell them, hey, put some money here. Sometimes people don't know that, but the fact that you know that is very important. And so I would say that there are different ways to kind of get into it, and then everybody has the same amount of time in a day. So just really how you slice those hours and those minutes and how you utilize that is going to be key. So, when you have downtime, maybe instead of kind of just relaxing watching TV, then you might, be learning and looking for new opportunities, or join some investment clubs around you. Those are free on Facebook, and just start learning what other people are doing. Sometimes people have so much going on that they need to give it to somebody else to handle, and they'll actually give you like a piece of that like profit, just to kind of help, and they'll teach you how to do certain things as well. You never know. So the fact that you can grab a mentor and really ramp up that way is key as well.
Did that help you?
Yes, absolutely. And you're both absolutely correct. And I'll keep everything you said at the forefront of my mind while I like go through my journey and like every day, like payday is tomorrow. So I'll keep everything you said on the front of my mind. And like, what you said is correct. Those are the priorities. And like, I'm working full time for the first time in my life, and never have I ever been so happy to go back to school in August. Like, it makes me immensely grateful for school, honestly, because like it's for me, like, and
Yeah,
to do, and they like want me to be better, and like not them, and not building their company. I mean, of course schools are for profit too, but you
Right,
know
right.
but it's still, they want to help me the most, but more so.
Well, it
Thank you.
sounds like you're welcome, and it sounds like you understand, and that's what the important thing is that you're continuing to learn and grow. As long as you're living and breathing, you can learn and grow and continue to expand your horizons. I want to thank you. I'm going to take you off the stream, but thank you so much for joining us. Okay,
yeah,
so
thank you.
let's ask one more question. It's pretty much, tell us a little bit about AAREP. What does it stand for, and why is it important for this organization to be in existence?
So I call it AREP, and AREP stands for the African American Real Estate Professionals of Atlanta. Well, we're the Atlanta chapter. Um, and, it's very important to be a part of an organization like this. It's a nonprofit organization that has the sole purpose of supporting minority talent and professionals within the commercial real estate industry. And what we are doing is really still exposing the industry to um, African Americans, really, that are working in the space, that they may be burnt out in their career and looking for a switch, or they might be looking to further improve what they have going on already. Um, but this organization helps make those connections within networking and finding career opportunities for individuals, um, and especially from organizations within industry that support diversity and inclusion.
And this is a national organization, but you represent the branch that's based in Atlanta, right?
That is correct. So don't quote me on the number of, I'm not going to try to say the number of chapters that are out there, but I know there's representation. There's a chapter in LA, and there's definitely a chapter in DC. And then I believe there's one in Chicago as well, but they're all over, and they're new ones popping up throughout the year. We're trying to grow our national representation.
And how would somebody get in contact with you? Can you put that in the chat so that you can put it in the
Sure, I'll
comments?
drop.
In the comments, put it in the comments, and people can find out how, because that goes all to the streaming. Your LinkedIn. What is the best way? I would, whatever you want to utilize to get in contact. I contact you via LinkedIn, and I know you.
Yeah,
Everybody who I bring on, by the way, audience, I just want to let you know I know them. I get to know them. I
yes, we
build a
do.
relationship so that you guys can have a direct pathway and a mentor, so to speak, where you guys can hear from experts. Um, this is very important. We represent all backgrounds, all demographics of people, because we represent also the Black College Expo. We do emphasize HBCUs and the minorities who are going to other institutions who may not feel like they're finding their voice out in the business community. So he put it in the chat. So let me make sure.
Yeah, put it in the
Good. Okay.
private chat. I didn't see where I could put it in the
That's
comment
okay.
section.
That's okay. I got you. I got you. Don't worry about you.
Okay.
I got
All right.
you. I'm gonna add you to a banner, and then we'll go from there. So, okay, is it spelled? Wait, did I spell it right? Wait, is there an M? Chris
Yep,
M Bell. Okay, I
that's
want to
right.
make sure I save it, and then I'm gonna show it. This is how you can get in contact with him via LinkedIn. You can screenshot that. And is there any final thoughts that you want to say to close us out?
Um, Really, I do. I want to thank you, Denise, and your organization for having me, and everybody that's out there. Whether you are looking to work in this industry, as you see, you can work in it in so many areas. Different avenues to get to it. Um, Working in it or investing in it. Either way, the opportunity is there. Just remember, like I said, once you leave outside of your house, look at that environment around you. Look at the fact that there's probably, if you're in a city, there are probably skyscrapers that you've never stepped foot in, and you probably can't even get access to that building if you wanted to. But commercial real estate opens those type of doors where you're actually inside of those spaces, those environments with big business and big deals going down.
Well, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us and representing the African American Real Estate Professional organization based in Atlanta. I am your host, Mrs. Denise Parker, and we're here to elevate your game. I want to remind you to follow us on our NCRF TV network on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn. Of course, subscribe to our channel. We have tons of information. Next week is going to be a resume building workshop. You're going to follow just here. You can, this is how you get in contact with me. Screenshot that, and it goes to our page and it shows you all our opportunities that we have available. All our partners who support us, sponsor us, and follow us on our expo tour. I'm on my way to the East Coast to send to help 53 students, approximately 50 something students, get into college, do an HBCU and Ivy League tour. We're super excited about that. We're going to visit 12 schools, and I'll be gone for 10 days. My goal is that you guys receive information in college, careers, and beyond, that you have immense opportunities. We do not want to hold you back. Again, my name is Mrs. Denise Parker. I'm with the National College Resources Foundation, and I am the manager of internships and careers. Thank you to my special guest, Christopher Bell.
Thank you
Bye.
all and have a good night.